There's over $100 billion worth in Bitcoin locked away that nobody on earth can touch. And the only person who could simply vanished. His name, at least the one the world knows, is Satoshi Nakamoto. He's the creator of Bitcoin, owner of more than 1.1 million Bitcoins, and the most legendary Enigma in the entire financial world. But what was Satoshi running from? Why'd he disappear? Was it danger? Was it power? Or was it something even larger? The story isn't just a riddle. It's a warning, a revolution, and a secret that still has the world's richest and most powerful people looking over their shoulders. Today we'll follow the trail Satoshi left behind and reveal why his disappearance still threatens the future of money as we know it. What you're about to hear isn't just crypto trivia. This is the true story behind the biggest fortune that nobody can touch, the greatest unsolved mystery in tech, and the revolution that started when one person dared to walk away from $100 billion equivalent. For reasons we're still trying to understand. The story is about you, your money, and the future roles of freedom and power. Let's start with the number 1.1 million. That's how many Bitcoins are linked to Satoshi's original wallet. That's almost 5% of the total supply that will ever exist. At today's price, that's well over $100 billion. If Satoshi ever cashed out, he'd outrank almost everyone on the Forbes list, wealthier than Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, and the founders of Google. But here's the twist. Not a single Bitcoin in those wallets has ever been moved, spent, or touched since they were mined. Most of them all the way back in 2009 and 2010. For over 15 years, blockchain analysts and whale watchers have tracked these coins obsessively. Every time a big old stash moves, you've seen the crypto Twitter group light up with rumors, asking, was it Satoshi? Did Satoshi wake up? But those original coins, scattered across nearly 20,000 different wallet addresses, remain untouched, almost like clues in a global treasure hunt. Some people believe the private keys are lost forever, and others think it's a deliberate choice, a way for Satoshi to prove that Bitcoin was always meant to be bigger than any one person, even its creator. It's a true benevolent act, but history has yet to show what will happen. To see why Satoshi's silence matters, you have to look at the system Bitcoin was built to disrupt. When was it born? What was the situation in the geopolitical scene? For centuries, money meant trusting kings, governments, or banks. But history has shown us that trust can be a weapon too, and those in charge often abuse it. The US dollar, for instance, alone has lost over 95% of its purchasing power in value over the last 100 years because of inflation and money printing. Historically, we've seen central banks devalue currencies to pay for wars, while Wall Street bankers crash economies with reckless bets. And every time, it's been regular people like you and me, the 99%, who pay the price. And that's not right. Now let's take a look at the year 2008. This is the year that broke the system. The world at this time was running on debt and denial. Banks handed out subprime mortgages like candy at Halloween, then bundled them into securities labeled safe. But when US home prices crashed by more than 20%, and in places like Nevada and Florida by over 50%, the illusion shattered. You have to go watch the movie, I think it's called The Big Short. You'll get a really good idea of what was going on around this time. And then also the movie GameStop. Between these two movies, you can find them on Netflix. It paints a picture of the times within which and shortly after Bitcoin came to the rescue of or emerged from. 100 million Americans lost their homes to foreclosures during this time. Household wealth dropped by 17 trillion in just a year and a half. Unemployment soared past 10%, the highest in a generation. And as the economy crumbled, the same banks that caused the disaster were bailed out with a $700 billion package, thanks to you and me, the taxpayer in the US, plus trillions more in emergency loans from the government, which basically means they just created a bunch of money and borrowed from each other and then gave that money to the banks. A disaster, completely wrong. Ordinary families during this time lost jobs, savings, and trust in the system itself. It was in this climate, with the world questioning everything about money and authority, that a 9-page PDF emerged online, signed by a name nobody recognized: Satoshi Nakamoto. On January 3rd, 2009, Satoshi mined the very first Bitcoin block. But this wasn't just the start of a new technology. It was a manifesto hidden in the code. Satoshi embedded a newspaper headline from the Times of London, and it read, "Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks." This wasn't just a timestamp. It was Satoshi's way of saying, never again. No more money printers. No more backroom deals. Bitcoin would be different. Its supply would be limited to 21 million Bitcoins ever. It would be decentralized, with no CEO, no headquarters, no off kill switch. Every transaction would be visible to everyone. Isn't that like mind-blowing, revolutionary, and so common sense at the same time? And its users would be protected by pseudonyms. For the first time, anyone, anywhere could own and move money without asking permission from any bank or government. At first, nobody cared. But the people who did were the ones who needed it the most. When WikiLeaks was blacklisted by Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal, they turned to Bitcoin, raising millions of crypto and keeping whistleblowers online. And in Venezuela, as hyperinflation destroyed the local currency, families used Bitcoin to buy groceries and saved the little wealth they had left in Bitcoin. In Cyprus, when the government froze bank accounts during a crisis, Bitcoin demand exploded because people realized no one could freeze or seize it. Over time, Bitcoin became a lifeline in over 70 countries, facing inflation or capital controls. But every time adoption surged, so did the backlash, naturally. Bankers called it a scam, governments tried to ban it, regulators, until recently too in the US, called it dangerous. The harder they pushed, the more the network spread, because it's as they say, all PR is good, even bad PR is good. Satoshi's presence in Bitcoin's early days was quiet, but unmistakable. He fixed bugs, he wrote updates, and answered questions on online forums. He never used voice or video, intelligently so, only text. As Bitcoin started attracting headlines and scrutiny, Satoshi pulled back. In December of 2010, he made his last public post, and all he said was, "I've moved on to other things." No dramatic goodbye, no warning, just silence, which is often the best way of moving on. And after that, nothing. No known emails, no forum posts, no sign-ins. The world's greatest digital fortune frozen. The inventor lost. Since then, the hunt has not stopped. Dozens of cryptographers, developers, and journalists have been accused, investigated, or even harassed. Names like Hal Finney come up, Nick Szabo, and Dorian Nakamoto have trended worldwide. They've even made a documentary on this, each denying the claim, some facing real-world threats or swarms of media attention. Linguistic analysts, interestingly so, show Satoshi wrote in British English and kept London hours. But other clues point to the US or Australia. No theory has been proven or stuck. So why the obsession? Because Satoshi's secret is powerful. If anyone could prove they are Satoshi, they'd instantly control the biggest hidden fortune in crypto, plus the future of the entire Bitcoin protocol. Governments could try to claim the Bitcoins, demand taxes, or even threaten prosecution and try to somehow shut it down. If these Bitcoin ever move, markets could panic, triggering a global sell-off or wide price swing. Today, Bitcoin is no longer just a curiosity. Over 65 million Americans own or use crypto. Nearly 1 in 5 adults under the age of 35 in the US have invested in Bitcoin. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF has become the fastest growing ETF in the US history, surpassing 50 billion in assets within months. More than 130 public companies hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender back in 2021, while other countries are quietly stockpiling Bitcoin for their central banks. Meanwhile, the US government holds over 200,000 seized Bitcoin from criminal cases, more than almost any private investor. Yet, with all this growth, those 1.1 million Satoshi coins remain untouched. Analysts run whale alert bots watching for any sign of movement. Some see the silence as a blessing, and I agree, signaling the ultimate proof that Bitcoin is for everyone, it's for the people, not just its creator. Others call it the biggest risk, because if Satoshi comes back, the whole market could change overnight. However, the real genius of Satoshi wasn't just writing the code. It was knowing when to disappear. Without a founder to arrest, threaten, or bribe, Bitcoin remains the only major money system on Earth with no single point of failure. No company to subpoena, no leader to corrupt. Every major monetary system in history eventually failed when too much power was held in one place. Satoshi ensured Bitcoin's power would belong to the network, a decentralized network, not to any one person, not even himself. So you see, Bitcoin is more than code. It's more than money. It's more than currency. It's a test of trust, a challenge to the old system and the world's greatest financial experiment. The $100 billion fortune, the code, the myth of a vanished founder, all of it proves that sometimes the most radical act isn't building something new, but having the courage to walk away. If you enjoyed this kind of story where crypto and mystery collide, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. It helps the channel and lets us know you want more untold stories from the wild side of money and technology and Web3. And it certainly keeps me motivated to keep coming back to you every day and improving and just sharing more and more with you. And I'd love to hear your take on the story. If Satoshi ever returned, or if a single one of those ancient Bitcoins moved, would it make Bitcoin stronger, or could it bring the whole system crashing down? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, because the story of Satoshi Nakamoto and the war over the future of money isn't over. It's only getting started, actually. And we see that in the videos I bring you every single day, Monday through Friday. Anyway, guys, that's a wrap for today's video. Happy Wednesday, and I'll get you guys here tomorrow. Take care.